I'd like to call this meeting, the Alexander County Board of Commissioners, into session this time. This is on Monday, April the 6th, 2026. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Vice Chairman Josh Lael, and our invocation will be given by myself, Larry Yoder, as we have two commissioners that are away tonight, and they will not be here. And so at this time, if you all would, please rise. Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we appreciate the opportunity that you give us, that we can meet in a place of freedom, in a place where we can voice our opinions and do the things that we need to do to make Alexander County the best it can be. Be with our emergency personnel, our first responders, be with our military personnel, be with our country, be with all of our leaders throughout the world, that somehow, some way we can come together and sit down and find a way to find peace and for everybody to work together to make the world a better place. Be with our astronauts as they go behind the moon tonight and we lose contact with them for a little while. We pray for their safety. We pray for them to have a safe return. We'd ask you to be with each of us tonight as we made our way here, and be with us as we make our way home. For we ask all those things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Do we have any commissioners that'd like to make any report tonight? If not, gentlemen, I have an amendment to the agenda. It'll be item 6A, and it will be the video from the NCACC video that we will present as item 6A. Other than that, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as presented, including item 6A.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented, including the addition of item 6A.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. All opposed likewise. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody to speak?
Anthony. Helen Anthony.
I don't.
Helen Chester.
Okay. Helen, I had you down to speak. Do you want to speak, or did you rather wait? Your call.
To the commissioners, we did have prepared a statement to be made tonight in reference to Sterling Road, and we have elected to wait for the commissioners to have another meeting before we make our presentation, and trusting and believing that it's going to go well for Sterling Road, but we will wait.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Item number 7 on the agenda is the North Carolina Scholastic Readiness Program presentation. Mr. Michael Worley, the Economic Development Director, and Garrett Waskoff with the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. If you would, one moment. We need to watch this NCAC video, so give me 1 second.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the NC County's Care Forum on Rural Health Care on March the 27th. We are grateful that you took the time to be a part of such an important conversation for our communities. Throughout the afternoon, we heard valuable insights from North Carolina healthcare leaders from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, ECU Health, representatives from a local health department, as well as our partner from Carolina Demography, Dr. Nathan Dollar. Together, these voices helped highlight both the challenges and the opportunities facing rural health care in our state. Whether during the panel or small group discussions, The attendees' perspectives and experiences are what make these forums meaningful and impactful. This kind of engagement is how we move ideas into action. We hope you'll continue the conversation with us at the next forum in this presidential series on May the 20th in Beaufort County. There we'll take a closer look at healthcare in jails, another critical issue affecting counties across North Carolina. Be on the lookout for the registration information. Now I want to mention something very important to all commissioners across the state. I highly encourage you to stay engaged on key policy discussions happening at the General Assembly, especially the House and Senate committees on property tax. These conversations will have significant impacts for our counties as well as the people that we serve. So please plan to join us in the state capitol for County Advocacy Days on June the 9th and 10th, an important opportunity for us to connect directly with our legislators and ensure that county voices are heard. Thank you again for your leadership, your collaboration, and your commitment to strengthening the health of our communities. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay. Item number 7, the North Carolina Selection Readiness Program presentation. Mr. Michael Worley, Economic Development Director, and Garrett Wyckoff with the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Manager Mundy. Tonight, I have Garrett Wyckoff with us, and he is here with EDP&C. He is the Manager of Product Development, and he's going to do a presentation, as you know, that has been announced that Alexander County was announced to be put into the Select Site Readiness Program that has selected 5 counties in western North Carolina, and I'll let him go into more detail. Garrett.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here. As Michael said, I'm with the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. My name is Garrett Wyckoff. I've been in economic development either at the Department of Commerce or with the EDP&C for almost 25 years now. In the role that I have, we were, by general statute, asked by the General Assembly to find sites across North Carolina and help them get ready for future manufacturing projects. That's really the goal here. So I wanted to today just give a real brief presentation on why this is important, talk a little bit about the Alexander County site that was selected, and some trends that we're seeing overall. While we are named the #1 state for business, there are things that our competitors are trying to do, and we're trying to stay in front of them. So this is all part of that. Next slide, please. So first, I just wanted to start with the basics. What is site readiness? And that means a lot of things. It's a very simple concept, just to say getting a site ready. But what does all that entail? And I'm not going to read all of this, but really it's the process of preparing a site, in this case, for a specific use. In our case, for, hopefully manufacturers, to come to bring jobs and investment to the state and to our communities. There are a number of different levels to this. So we want to start out by first doing what we call due diligence, doing basic analysis of the site, doing all those site studies, wetland delineation, phase 1, phase 2, all the environmental studies that have to be done. Really what we're looking to do here is, see if the site is worth pursuing, going further, and what some challenges may be that we've got to address as the site maybe progresses to more readiness or more development. We're also looking at infrastructure. The water, the sewer, the power. What is there currently? What could get there in the future? So doing those kind of assessments. Again, this helps us identify the challenges and come up with a game plan for some solutions to get the site the most ready it can be, the most marketable. This helps with the planning and preparation. We're going to develop some detailed plans around the site, and then we document this information. So when we do have a site consultant or a company leadership that want to make sure that this site is as ready as we say it is, we have all these details for potential customers. Next slide, please. So why does this matter? I think I highlighted 2 of these 5. I think, depending on whom you may speak with, they may highlight a couple others, but I think these, to me, are really, really important for a particular community. One, we know that obviously bringing jobs and investment, it's going to boost the economic growth of the community, potentially the region, depending on the size of the project. I highlighted speeds up development timelines. That's going to be a major theme as we get through a couple more of these slides. But this is a very competitive business, not just with other sites in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. A lot of our southeastern partners, maybe not partners, competitors, are doing a lot of this same work. And we're competing with hundreds and thousands of sites sometimes when we get an RFI. That funnels, it's like a funnel. It starts very broad and it works its way down. So the more that we can do at the front end to help speed up those timelines when a company wants to make a decision, that puts us in a much better competitive position. We reduce project risks, again, by doing that analysis. We can develop strategies and figure out what those challenges are and what we need to mitigate them. Number 4, ensuring project-specific suitability. I believe this is very important for the community itself. It allows leadership, the population of the community, to figure out does a specific project fit for what we want here for future growth. Like I said, I've been doing economic development in this state for almost 25 years. And when I first started, we would get a project come in, we would send out an RFI to our local economic developers to respond, and hardly anybody back then asked, what's the industry? What do they do? What do they need? It was more like, we want the jobs and the tax base increase here. I think as things have gone on, and what I'm seeing specifically over the last few years, is that not every project is a right fit for a specific community. And knowing what your site, what it has, and what it can be, it gives you all, and it gives the citizens a better framework of what really will work here. What do we want here to help our community grow? And then lastly, it is the job creator and can improve quality of life through that increase in tax base for the citizens of the community. So a little bit of background. This all started back in calendar year 2022, where the EDPNC was literally flooded with projects that were what we would consider of the mega site variety, huge scoped projects, thousands of jobs, billions of dollars of investment. At the time, we as a state, while we had some good options, large site options for these projects, our inventory was admittedly, pretty low. So the General Assembly asked us to go out, and we hired a third-party site consultant to go out and analyze sites for us across the entire state. The statute said that they wanted us to come up with at least 5 new mega sites across North Carolina. We ended up with 7, 2 that we've been marketing for a decade plus, as well as 5 new sites. But what came out of that was talking with other communities, talking with site selectors and other folks in economic development, that we needed this for sites that weren't mega-sized, for mega-sized projects. That mega site readiness program, a site to be admitted into that program had to be at least 1,000 contiguous acres. So working with the General Assembly and hearing from folks across the state, we developed the Select Site Readiness Program, and that's basically sites that are below that 1,000-acre threshold. So from that charge, we went out again and hired a site selection consultant to help us identify 15 sites across North Carolina. Now, a couple of things happened after we came out with our study. Admittedly, of those 15, I think we had 3 that were represented in Western North Carolina. I think we all, as Western North Carolina residents, we probably understand what we understand those challenges. It's hard to develop, dirt that's on a mountain and the cost of it. And sometimes those sites are maybe better suited for, other things, not just manufacturing. So that played a part. But then we were hit with Hurricane Helene. And, we know how that devastated this part of the state. So again, speaking with General Assembly members, back in May of last year, they amended that Select Site program and asked us to go back out with a new study, identify at least 5 sites in Western North Carolina in counties that were declared by the President of the United States to be major disaster areas. We did that, worked on that all last year, and developed our report and distributed that general report, in early of 2026. I'm happy to say, you all know, Alexander County, the rail site, Alexander Rail Site, the north property, was admitted into that program. So the Alexander site, as well as 4 others, all now become part of our Select Site Readiness Program, allowing these sites to be eligible for grant dollars to help the site get even more ready. Next slide. So we've got 4 eligible purposes under the program. First one is site acquisition. We can help with this purpose. The maximum amount that can be awarded is the lesser of 85% of the purchase price of the property or the tax value of the property. So there is, unlike the other eligible purposes, the site acquisition does require some skin in the game from the unit of local government. The next eligible purpose is around public infrastructure. So we can upgrade or assist in putting in or newly installing public infrastructure to the site. Originally, that was water, sewer, maybe natural gas, but an amendment last year also allowed for any site that is served by an EMC or electricities, that we can assist in power upgrades at those sites that are served by those at our municipal electric cooperations. Next slide. I think we skipped one. Oh, there it is, I'm sorry. On-site preparation, this really is assisting that last stage with the clearing, the grading, all of that type of work that needs to be done to the site to get it basically pad ready. And then finally is the site due diligence, where essentially all reports and assessments that are necessary for a comprehensive site analysis can be paid for through our grant program. I wanted to point out that included in there is, we felt very strongly, as well as the General Assembly members, that we include workforce analysis as well. So we can pay for or assist in paying for a community or regional workforce study that the county, the community can have as folks may be looking at the site and have those questions around workforce. You'll have a generated report about the workforce capabilities of the particular site. So what does all this mean? So we published the final report in January of this year, and it was pretty high level, but for each community, that made it into advanced from those 5 that advanced, they were each given a very comprehensive report on their site. It's about a 50-page report. I've just pulled out a few of the things here just so everybody is aware of the site consultants they identify strengths, they identify some challenges, they also identify some recommendations that, if we were in their shoes, what they would like to see on the site. So number 1 for the rail site was continuing discussions around to ensure availability and pricing of the northern site at the Alexander Rail site. Continue comprehensive site due diligence, upgrade water and wastewater infrastructure. The wetlands and delineation and mitigation plan could really fall under that comprehensive site due diligence, but because we need to involve the Army Corps of Engineers, that can be a pretty lengthy process, so we want to get started on that right away. So they highlighted that out individually. And then finally, grading and site preparation. The great thing about the recommendations for this site is that pretty much all of these fall under eligible expenses, of our grant program. So I've already had a number of discussions with Mr. Worley, and part of what we're going to be working on is, not just sitting back and waiting for these communities to come forth with application and grant those applications, but really working at the front end and developing that strategy, of these things, which is the low-hanging fruit. Let's work on that due diligence. Let's start reaching out to the Army Corps of Engineers, and then eventually we'll get ourselves to the grading and site preparation piece. But that's the other part of this I wanted you all to be aware of, is there's going to be constant communication back and forth and making sure we have a strategy that works for my organization as well as at the county. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight why we're seeing, why this push from the state of North Carolina, as well as a number of our competitors around getting sites ready. So in much of my research, a lot of this is a change in mindset of, at least when I started, or even, up to about five or 6 years ago. But essentially, the best sites are the ones that have the answers already, figured out. When you sit down with a client, all of that is taken care of, and it's really about meeting their timeline. What we're seeing in economic development is that when a company makes a decision to either expand or locate a new facility, internally they give themselves about a 28-month window. And if we're having to tell a client, oh, it's going to take 6 months to rezone or to get this permit or that, there's so much competition out there, they're just going to cross off your site and move on to the next one. Infrastructure is now the gatekeeper. Again, back when I started, infrastructure was just a checkbox in an RFI. Yeah, they've got water, they've got sewer, we can get more if we need it. But now, especially with a lot of the water needs that we're seeing, as well as the power needs, that's really driving everything. If that site cannot, within a relative, decent timeline, get to a certain megawattage or whatever that company needs, or if they need excess capacity in water, again, they're just going to cross it off and move on to the next one. It's that cutthroat. One thing that hasn't changed, and I did highlight it here, is workforce readiness is still a problem. It's not just a problem here, it's a problem everywhere. And the thing here is, again, working with, in this case with Michael, other economic developers across the state, is you don't have to answer yes to every question that a company or a site consultant has. But if it is no, then the next word needs to be but. We may not have this, but we are working with the community college system or our community college or the K through 12 system to develop X, Y, Z. So, while you have to have the product, I wish I had coined this term, no product, no project. having that site is going to open that door. But you also have to answer other questions too, and workforce is probably that second biggest one. Incentives relevancy. What we're seeing is, and I just saw another article that was published today, that I think there used to be a mentality of, oh, let's just throw state program money at it, or property tax. I know we're not allowed to abate taxes, but a grant back. That's just not the case anymore. I mean, incentives are important when they're important, and that's typically at the very end. If the site doesn't work, if they can't get the workforce or have the livability that they want for their employees, then the incentives, there's no buying projects, We still have to remain competitive in that arena because, when you're down to maybe the last 2 or 3 sites, then it can make a difference. But incentives aren't driving deals like they may have done, a decade plus ago. And then lastly, the competitive advantage, your competitive advantage as a community is being able to provide executional certainty to the company. They need these things done before they can get a CO and start manufacturing widget A, B, whatever. They need to know that there's that certainty there, with their unit of local government partner that if they want to expand or if they need, additional water service or whatever that is, that they've got a partner and we can execute on, on those promises we made when we were recruiting them here. So believe that's the last slide I have. I've provided my contact information. If anybody feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk and provide more details about this. And I don't know how much time I have left. I know you're all busy, but happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions?
So we're just excited.
Yes.
We're excited to be.
This is a good day, great day.
It is, yes, that is very, very, very true.
Thank
And
you all
I
for your
think with
time. I
some of the
appreciate it.
information Mr. Worley's already said to us in the past about this, is that, and you working with him and getting the information to him through the county manager, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that based on what I've heard these commissioners say in the past and the discussions we've had about trying to get new industry here and to try to get things done for the community, there's not a doubt in my mind that this group of commissioners will not work and do the things we need to do to bring valuable assets to Alexander County.
Excellent, thank you.
As quickly as possible.
Yes, exactly, I'm with you.
Yes.
Thank you all, appreciate the time.
Thank you. Item number 8 on the agenda, public hearing, real property acquisition through land option agreement for economic development. Mr. Ben Falconberry, County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This next agenda item is a good lead, well, the last one was a good lead-in to this particular public hearing. Tonight, we're asking you to consider and approve an option to purchase agreement for 2 parcels adjacent to the existing industrial park. The purpose of this agreement is to preserve the county's ability to acquire the property for economic development and allow us to conduct due diligence and to see if these 2 parcels are adequate to develop as an industrial site and to add on to our current existing industrial park. What this agreement does not do is buy the property outright tonight. This is simply an option that gives the county the exclusive right to purchase later if the board intends to exercise that option. The parcels to be considered, as I said, are adjoining the industrial park. I believe I have 2 slides, two photos, or GIS screenshots anyway. That's not it.
We need to go backwards.
It's in your packet, if you want to look at the agenda packet. The agreement will help support the industrial park expansion and therefore help recruit manufacturing and related employers. Increasing employment and taxable property in the county as well. This strengthens our already solid commitment to industrial activity that will continue to support and use rail services that exist at the industrial park. North Carolina law expressly authorizes counties to undertake this type of agreement under the Local Development Act and Chapter 158 of the General Statutes. Counties may acquire options for the acquisition of property suitable for industrial or commercial use. And the statute also requires a public notice and a public hearing before approval of this agreement, which we're about to do the public hearing portion now. Public notice was published at least 10 days in the Taylorsville Times. As I said, this option will be for 1 year. The option fee is $1. If exercised, the purchase price will be $7,948.49 per acre. Right now, we are projecting around 115 acres. If a survey reveals more than that, it would be an additional $8,000 per acre for acreage above 115. Once the option is exercised, we will have closing within 60 days after that date. This agreement is designed to let the county investigate the property before deciding whether to buy. And during the option period, the county may enter the property for inspections, soil testing, surveys, engineering studies, and other evaluations. But some of the first things that will happen will be a survey and title review, as well as an environmental review, soil and geotechnical testing, engineering and site suitability analysis, and determination whether the site is feasible for industrial use. There's a resolution before the board tonight. It does 3 things. It approves the agreement, authorizes the county manager to proceed, and authorizes myself to prepare any additional documents needed to complete the acquisition. Again, these 2 parcels are owned by the Alexander Railroad Company. There's a portion that they will retain that's south of W.E. Babb Industrial Boulevard, but the remainder of both parcels are covered under this option agreement. So if the board approves the agreement tonight, staff will proceed with the following steps. The agreement will be executed. The option fee will be paid within 5 days. The memorandum of option, which is also included in the agenda packet, will be registered to the Register of Deeds, and we'll begin due diligence immediately thereafter. But this agreement will allow us to take advantage of those surveys, the due diligence, and also take advantage of what you just heard from EDP&C tonight with the select site funding. I respectfully ask the board to approve the option to purchase agreement and authorize the necessary execution and tasks for county staff.
Gentlemen, is this, if I would at this time, I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing pertaining to agenda item number 8, real property acquisition through land option agreement for economic development.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. As this is a public hearing, the folks in the audience have the opportunity to ask questions or to make statements, and that can happen at this time. The only thing that I ask is, during, if you want to talk about it or have a question or anything, if you'd come up to the mic and state your name so that folks will know who you are, and then ask whatever question you desire to. Gentlemen, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would just make a statement. I feel like as we, the commission, try to spur on economic development, obviously we have to have somewhere for those projects to go. And an option is by far, in my opinion, the smartest and safest way for us to investigate and hopefully potentially purchase property, you know, for economic development purposes. I think it's a no-brainer to tie up $1 to allow us to, or to spend $1 to tie up this property for 12 months so we have the ability to make sure that it is suitable and desirable for, future economic development needs. And in my opinion, taking an option is a much smarter decision than buying a piece of property up front and seeing what happens with it. Because, to use an old country term, we don't want to buy a pig in a poke. And if you haven't lived in Alexander County long enough to know what a poke is, I'm sorry, we can talk after the meeting. But I just think this is a really smart thing to do. I think it's a very shrewd use or non-use of taxpayer money at this point. And I just want to share my support.
Very good. Does anyone in the audience have anything? Any questions? Well, we've been working on this for a while, so we're glad to see it come into fruition, and we appreciate the work that you guys have put into it, and we look forward to good things happening. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. All those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
I make a motion, we enter in this with item number 8, real property acquisition, land option agreement with economic development.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9 on the agenda is public hearing rezoning case RZ-26-01. Petway and Clayton Holmes Green. Patrick Creech, Planning Director.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we open the public hearing.
Okay, have a second.
Second.
Motion's made second. Any discussion?
Get that out of the way.
There being none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am presenting rezoning case 2601 on behalf of Scotty Green, who is here tonight. His address is 421 Emerald Lane, looking to rezone his 4.5 acres from R1 to R2. Mr. Green has inherited this parcel from his grandmother. He spent some time cleaning it up for the placement of a home. He's currently living in a rental property. He wants to place a double-wide manufactured home there. In an R1 zone, double wides are not allowed, but in an R2, they would be. This property is adjacent to Headnight Elementary School, and it's down on Emerald Lane in Headnight, just where it turns into a dirt road. It is served by neither water nor sewer. The dirt road and the lack of water and sewer access do limit development, and the potential would be mostly for low-density or residential or agricultural purposes. When reviewing or making recommendations on proposed zoning map amendments, review bodies will consider the following factors. One is the consistency of the proposed zoning with the Alexander County Comprehensive Plan. This area and the vicinity where it is considered an urban services area by the future land use plan. Urban services areas typically have more urban services and urban scale development, but they are meant to be consistent with natural constraints within the area and the availability of urban services. And substantial investments in affordable housing should occur within the urban services areas. Second thing you should consider is consistency of the proposed zoning with the purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. In your staff reports, you will see the entire language for R1 and R2 zones and their purposes. One of the biggest differences is for the density, and the density for R2 zoning is considered to be lower. Third thing you should consider is the full range of permitted usages.
And I have given you a full list of the differences between R1 and R2. There are only 7 differences. In general, R2 has fewer permitted allowances for land uses than R1, and it does have lower density. Fourth thing you should consider is whether or not it is spot zoning. This would not be considered spot zoning, as there are other R2 zones of which they would be adjacent. This rezoning was forwarded to the TRC and to the superintendent of Alexander County Schools. No departments were able to or had any comments. And we've also not had any comments from the public. On Thursday, March 12th, the planning board held a public meeting, and they recommended this rezoning. Staff recommends that this rezoning be considered and approved.
Thank you. As this is a public hearing, and anyone in the audience may have a question or concern, this will be your opportunity to speak. Any commissioners have anything?
In reviewing this before, I mean, this is a question, I'm not, I don't have a personal issue with the rezoning. But, I see where this property is in Midnight. I mean, it's right behind the school. And there are other streets really close by that have very small residential lots. And there's no water.
There is water. Energy, not a water tap on property.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, because, well,
I guess it was,
It has listed as no water because it's not cut on, it hasn't been for over 5
okay.
years.
Well, my concern was, I'm like, that's crazy to me that,
It is on city water.
Okay,
I just
okay.
haven't had the tap
Excuse,
turned on.
excuse me. If you don't mind, sir, if you'd come up to the mic, state your name so that everybody will know who you are.
I just,
Thank you, I'm sorry.
oh, no,
Yes,
you're
sir. I'm the landowner, Scotty Green.
Okay.
no, I just like say, I was just like, how in the world do we not have water access?
Down that road.
But, well, and this is a question, I guess, for Patrick. Does our GIS show Energy United's lines?
it does. I don't think that it was
Because, I mean,
down
I-
that far. GIS is not perfect when it comes to
Well,
that.
sure.
And so.
But, I'm just, because there were a couple other, like, little streets that are actually kind of back toward 90 that didn't show any water lines either. And I'm sitting there going, with the size of these lots, there's no way these all have wells. If they do, they're from way back when, because the modern requirements for wells, with distance from here, distance from there, and all that kind of stuff, not to mention the expense, the cost of wells.
I'm not sure how often those maps get updated, and especially if they come from not the town or the county. So,
Okay.
some of
'Cause,
those
well, I
are
just wanna
not,
make-
they're not complete.
I was just surprised when I saw it said, on our information, it just said no water, no sewer, which I kind of understood the sewer because we don't have much anywhere. But, I was like, good gosh,
And they've actually had service since the 80s down there, because my
Okay.
aunt and them had it put in.
okay. Well, good, because that was just my question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Gentlemen, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is made, second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor, indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, thank you. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve rezoning case RZ 2602 due to, well, given the consistency with the comprehensive plan. And, I'm sorry, did I read wrong? I read the wrong number.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Let me.
2601.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve rezoning case RZ 2601 due to its consistency with comprehensive plan.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? Those all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Item number 10 on the agenda is public hearing rezoning case RZ-26-02, Hammer, Patrick Green, Planning Director. Would you like to make a motion? Open the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Yeah.
My motion's made second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Okay, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. So David Hammer with Hammer Hospitality has applied to rezone 4 parcels from R1 to R2, similar to the last rezoning we just heard. He purchased this property and subdivided it in April of 2024, and he placed 1 double wide on one of the parcels at that time. And as we all know, 2 months later, the county was rezoned with the adoption of the new land development code. So he wishes to move forward with those plans and add double wides to the remaining lots. So that is where we are right here. So the lots are accessible from Happy Plains Road. Currently, there is public water there, but not sewer. And as currently zoned, the property could be used for a medium-density residential development. So R1 would allow for 4 units per acre, site-built or modular only. R2 would allow for 2 units per acre and would allow for double wides. Okay? So this is considered a downzoning. So one thing I do want to make sure that you're aware of is to the east of that property was recently annexed into the town of Taylorsville. So there is a proposed subdivision there. We have not received plans. We have not started that process. We've been just in discussions. They have annexed it, but at that point, if that subdivision goes through, sewer access could be available to this area. So, just for full transparency. So yeah, the purpose of both R1 and R2 zoning is to foster residential growth. In looking at consistency with our comprehensive plan, we're looking to direct growth, again, where there are essential services. At this time, it would be septic. When looking at the future land use plan, we see very similar to the last rezoning that it is in the urban services area. That is where our high-density housing and, commercial are intended to be developed. It's kind of on the outskirts of that, so potentially at some point, should the area expand, that would be someplace that we could see services being available in the future, but currently not. It's pretty rural road right now. It is, as far as consistency with the land development code, any development that occurs there is going to have to meet all of the requirements of our zoning process, environmental health, building code as well, so all of our codes. The TRC returned no feedback to us. It did go before the planning board on March 12th, and the planning board did recommend approval. Since the planning board, we have received 3 phone calls about the property, expressing that they would rather see site-built homes rather than manufactured. But that was pretty much the extent of their comments, so. And, yeah.
All right, as this is a public hearing, does anyone in the audience have anything they'd like to say?
I'm David Hammer. I'm the owner, Hammer Hospitalities. My wife and I bought this property in 2019 with the plan of subdividing it as we did and putting mobile homes there for our rentals. We're not slumlords. We're buying brand-new mobile homes. They offered to let us keep it the same zoning, and we could buy modular homes, which is essentially the same thing. They just don't come on a trailer. But it's about $30,000 more. So, we applied to be rezoned, and, the neighbors that I've talked to, she said they called, but they haven't. I'm friends with them. They haven't said anything personally to me, so it may have been somebody different, but it's not, we're not sticking double wides in an area where there's not already mobile homes. On Happy Plains Road and Martin Luther King Drive, they're pretty consistently all the way up through there. But we were informed that they are going to possibly build high-density housing in the property behind us. But from what I understand, speaking to their legal representatives, they ran into a problem with the DOT, and that's why they haven't gone forward. But we would like to rezone it and put a double wide like we did the first lot. We were kind of surprised that it was rezoned right after we put the first one and we weren't notified, but here we are. So, thank you.
Sir?
My name's Todd Lang. I'm a broker realtor with Howard Hanna, Allen Tate, and I actually represent the landowner that is selling 82 acres over off of Happy Plains, the Stike Leather property. That is the property that was in question that there is a proposed subdivision. It's a little longer than, more than proposed. They've put quite an investment in that property already. Quite frankly, we've had some difficulties with one of the property owners providing right-of-way to allow for sewer extension. The developer is already prepared to do that. The delay is, quite frankly, trying to come to a resolution on acquisition of that right-of-way. But it's a real project, and that's 82 acres. And I guess my only comment to this is that there is a little concern when you've got a single-family subdivision that has gone through some review. That's one of the reasons they rezoned the property, as far as I'm aware. It does put a little bit of pressure, I think, on the existing developer about the type of homes that are going to be out there. So it's a pretty, with 82 acres, it's, I can't remember how many houses it is, somewhere in the 250 to 300 range, I believe. It might have an impact on that, would be my only comment on that. So just thought you'd like to know, though. DOT wasn't the issue. It quite frankly is, they've got the access that they need. They got right-of-way access from a number of other adjacent landowners. And really the only thing left out at this point is to make an agreement with a particular landowner on right-of-way for sewer. And that would, again, you would have the developer paying for that sewer access all up and down Happy Plains. We're prepared to close on it and begin the project. It's just more of a matter of getting the final say-so, I guess, from the people that we need to. Okay?
Anyone else? Any questions from anybody? All right, okay. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the rezoning.
Let's close the public hearing first, sir. Make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we close the public hearing.
Second.
Second, motion is made, second, any discussion? There being none, all in favor, say raise your right hand. Okay. Commissioner Herman, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve it since the plan board made the recommendation for rezoning case RZ 2602 for Hammer.
Second.
We approve it.
Motion's made, second, any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 11 on the agenda is Via Health presentations. Mr. Zach Shepard, Via Health Community Relations Regional Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, appreciate you having me this evening. Just wanted to go through some regular updates that we like to go through from time to time to keep you all up to date on things that are happening at the organization, but then also some things that are happening more locally. So as always, I always stick this in here, just a reminder of who we are and what we do. These are descriptions of the 3 plans that we manage. Our VIA Total Care, Tailored Plan, and Medicaid Direct. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, one topic that's getting a lot of attention right now at the state level is the Rural Health Transformation Program. So that's going to see a large influx of monies coming in from the federal government to states to help transform our rural health system. It is slated to be $50 billion over 5 years. What that looks like for North Carolina is about $100 million for that first year. Then the second wave of funding would be distributed at the Center for Medicaid Services discretion. Here's just a little bit more background about that program. It is really focused on getting input from community health centers, health departments, tribal government, faith-based organizations, nonprofits, and community members. And at VIA, we have submitted an application to be a hub organization to help run this program, and that application just got submitted last week. Yep. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So here are the 6 core initiatives with this program, what it aims to do. I won't go through them all in detail, but community-rooted care networks, like I said, we've applied to be one of those care networks at VIA. We also have prevention, chronic disease management, behavioral health expansion, workforce development is a big initiative, financial sustainability, and technology and innovation. Okay, I'm sure I don't have to tell anybody this. I'm sure you all are very well aware of where we're at the with the state budget. And as we sit with this mini budget that is currently on the table, VIA is looking at a reduction in single stream funding of approximately $6 million, which will be a significant hit for us. But I also just included some other information in there that you are welcome to look at your leisure. Okay, getting more local with some news, I wanted to announce to the board about a partnership that VIA has entered into with the Alexander County Resource Center. I guess it's been about a year, Shannon Childers approached me and said, hey, we want to talk to you about something. And they brought us in, and we were very impressed with this team at the Alexander County Resource Center, and a couple of these ladies are here with us tonight. But what they're seeking to do is create a hub, a support hub here in the county, which will include peer support, food insecurity support, harm reduction services, hygiene products, and case management and referral. And VIA is proud to have allocated $350,000 in startup funds to get this project up and running. Now, what we have talked about in the future and is important for sustainability for this model is to look at hopefully providing billable services there in the future that will help them with their revenue and keep them sustainable and fiscally solvent. Also, just wanted to give a shameless plug. I'm proudly serve on the Alexander County Partnership for Children Board, along with Commissioner Lael. We're having our spring fling April the 16th, 4 to 7. Want to encourage everybody to come out and have fun with us. Should be a good time as long as it doesn't rain. All right, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
It's going to be interesting to figure out where you're going to get your money to continue the operation of some of those things if that money's cut like that.
It will. It will be interesting to see how that plays out.
You know, because you keep hearing, we've been talking to some of the officials, they talked about the Medicaid part and how much the federal's telling the state to pay it, and the state's trying to figure out where they're gonna get the money, and the only thing I can say is watch out counties, you know? Got right back to where we were with Medicaid one time before when the counties were putting so much in, then finally we were held harmless. It's gonna be interesting to see how that fight works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you mean the state's saying, potentially saying we need to pay for something, but then they're also saying, hey,
Well, the
we're gonna
federal-
limit how you can, we're gonna potentially limit how you can generate revenue to pay for that stuff?
Yes, I know. Surprises,
That's
right?
unbelievable.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Absolutely. Item number 12, resolution to authorize participation in the new National Opioids Remnant Defendants Settlement. And at this time, we call on our county attorney, Mr. Ben Falconberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 12 asks the board to decide whether Alexander County should opt in to a new national opioid settlement. That settlement is with 6 remnant defendants, and this decision requires the county to execute a participation and release form by May 4th of 2026. Again, this is a settlement participation decision. The county is not filing a lawsuit or hasn't filed a lawsuit in this particular matter. But the county is being asked by the National Consortium of Attorneys to participate and sign the release and join the settlement. The 6 remnant defendants are regional distributors and dispensers, Associated Pharmacies Incorporated and American Associated Pharmacies, J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company Incorporated, Morris and Dixon Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company Incorporated, and United Natural Foods Incorporated. And that also includes Super Value and Advantage Logistics, which are subsidiaries. One settlement agreement will cover all of those potential defendants. We cannot pick and choose, it's all or nothing. If effectuated, the settlement will produce a combined national payment of $97,625,000. Again, that's to be spread across local governments nationally, counties and municipalities, much like the previous opioid settlements that we've entered into in the past. The difference with this particular settlement to what we've done in the past is this would be a one-time payment. County's estimated share is about $50,000 based on materials provided by the national attorneys, but exact payment depends on final participation and allocation calculations. The settlement is designed to provide additional funds to help Alexander County address the opioid crisis, and if we decide to participate, it may receive the one-time payment that I mentioned, but it must be used for opioid abatement purposes, similar to previous settlements. The other difference between this settlement and the previous settlements is that there's no involvement from the state attorney general. The county's asked to participate individually, but the framework for settlement will be, it's anticipated to be the same, if not similar, if not the same to the previous settlements. The release will cover the entities that I listed, and it will release claims connected to the settlement. The release is broad and intended to be a complete bar, so we can't come back later and say, although we settled for this amount of money, we're gonna sue you for another pot of money. Again, settlement is very broad. Other than the differences between no state oversight of the potential settlement and this being a one-time payment instead of multiple payments over the course of, I believe we're in the second year of a 16-year settlement with the National Opioid Settlement. It's very similar to what we've done in the past. The board action tonight is to allow Mr. Mundy and myself to pursue the release, to further investigate whether it's something the county would benefit from, and to meet the deadline of May 4th in signing the release and moving forward.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions? There being none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the authorization of the resolution for the participation.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we authorize the county manager and other county staff involved to assess our participation in the settlement and to execute any and all documents necessary to join the 6 remnant defendant settlement and to provide documents needed to facilitate that settlement.
There was a second?
Second.
Motion is made, second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 13 on the agenda, budget ordinance amendment number 25. Mr. Justin Mundy, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there's one budget ordinance amendment in front of you tonight for consideration. This number 25 is to increase the EMS budget for a new ambulance that's been on back order. The reason it wasn't included in the original budget because it was not anticipated to be here before year end, because those orders take about 18 to 24 months to fulfill. But surprisingly, it will be here in May or June, so we're requesting a budget amendment to cover that. And this budget ordinance amendment also is to increase the EMS budget for the estimated cost of Medicaid program reimbursements for the remainder of the 2025-2026 budget year as required by NCDHHS. But the good news is this will not use fund balance. They have enough revenues in the EMS budget to cover this.
Very good. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to do a budget amendment number 25 and approve it.
Second.
Motion is made, second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. County Manager. The consent agenda, Mr. Justin Mundy, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there's several items on the consent agenda tonight, pretty routine items. We have some tax abatements and adjustments and tax refunds. There's 2 sets of minutes from the March 2nd meeting. We have a line item transfer report for March 2026. We have a fiscal year 26 audit contract with Martin Starnes and Associates. We have a line worker appreciation day proclamation. We have several requests from Sheriff Chad Pennell to surplus the following firearms, and those are listed. I'm not going to read those. We might be here a while. And then we have a request from Public Works to surplus a Caterpillar articulating wheel loader that has 11,688 hours on that.
Okay. Any questions? I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by County Manager, Mr. Justin Mundy.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion is made, second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, gentlemen. At this time, if you don't mind, Mr. Falkenberry, I'm going to take 1 second here. We have some Boy Scouts out here with us tonight, and if you guys don't mind, if you'd step up here to the front to the mic, tell us why you're here. I think I know why, but I think it'd be interesting to hear from you. Because based on what I see on your shoulders there with the patches y'all have, something tells me it might be a citizenship merit badge or somebody's working on their Eagle Scout. Tell us your name.
My name is Mason Lackey, and I'm here for the citizenship and the community merit badge. This was the last thing I had to do for it.
The last thing. Oh, okay, very good.
We're almost finished, man.
We're almost finished. Yeah.
We're almost finished.
Trust me, you won't miss dinner. Okay. Sir?
My name is Rowdy Tarleton, and I'm also here for the citizenship and the community badge, and I'm pretty sure this is the last thing I have to do. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. So what did you think? Give us your opinion of what you thought went on here tonight. And we had a large audience tonight also, which is, sometimes we have a large audience, sometimes we have a small audience. But what was your impression of your county government? Just off the hip. Okay? You learned something though, didn't you? It's different, isn't it? Yes, that's what I was wanting you to say, because my son was an Eagle Scout. And every time I see you kids walk in here, or you young men or women walk in here, it lets me know that you're working hard to become Eagle Scouts. And being an Eagle Scout is a very, very good thing. And work hard and continue. And now, if you don't mind, if you'd ask the gentleman in the back, the Scoutmaster, to step up, he can tell us who he is also. We'll get all of you.
So my name's Chad Lackey, and we're with Troop 275, and I'm the Cub Master of Pack 275. So I do the little guys, but they needed somebody to come with them tonight, and their leaders are all busy, so I came with them so they could finish out their merit badges.
Outstanding. And at this time, gentlemen, if y'all would stand still there a minute, let me present you with a little something here, okay? This is an Alexander County pin, okay? And I'd like to present each one of you this, okay? All right? Thank you, sir. There you go, my young man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking care of them and looking after them, okay?
Absolutely.
That's a good thing. Turn around here. This gentleman's gonna get our picture. This might be the last picture I ever get to take. The camera might break. Come on up here, okay? Proud of you. And getting your Eagle Scout, you'll be so proud of yourself. Keep working hard.
Okay. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Falconberry, County Attorney, your time.
Yes, sir, thank you. At this time, I request a motion to enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A 5 and 6, for the purpose of establishing and instructing county staff concerning the position to be taken by the county in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract for the acquisition of real property, and to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of a public officer.
Gentlemen, entertain a motion?
Make a motion, we go into closed session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is made, second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. All opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you very much.